Hey y'all, so I've got a tag order lined up on the table here, and I thought it would be a really good opportunity to show you why there are some inconsistencies in my carving, because I get that question quite a lot, but it's really hard to describe to somebody without a visual, because it's just not something that everybody does or everybody sees. I've got a toddler on the run here. So I line them all up like this, and then I post them, or I send them to the customer, or I post a picture on Facebook, depending on what I'm doing. And then I package them all up and put them in the box and mail them, off they go. But when they're lined up like this, see if I can flip the camera around. It's really easy to see inconsistencies. And it's not an inconsistency in a bad way. It's just the way that it is. These are the Ritchey Engravable cow-sized tags in the yellow with the black numbering, and the way the tags are set up is they are 3-layered. So you have a layer of yellow, a layer of black in the middle, and then a layer of yellow on the outside. So I actually engrave these. They aren't done with a laser, they're done with a Dremel engraver, and it takes the entire top layer of the yellow off to expose the black. So the number is actually inset into the tag. So I actually don't know how Ritchey makes these. I would absolutely love to go and find out. But they are getting a lot more consistent. I've been in the business about a year, a little over a year now, year and a half. And when I first started, their tags were really inconsistent on how thick that each dip was on the tag, but they're getting a lot more consistent. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I pulled some other colors here because yellow is really hard just for my camera to focus on. But you can see here that each of these colors, you have the blue, the orange, and the white, have a black middle. And the front of this white one is really thick. And then the back of it is thin. And then you have your orange and your blue, and you see how different they are across the board. So that is how far into the tag I have to engrave to get to the black part, which is what shows up when you engrave it. So when each tag is different, or it's inconsistent between the colors, then the machine, it can't recognize that because it's just set across the board to engrave a certain depth. So some of the tags need to be a little bit deeper or a little bit shallower, and it really varies per color, but they are getting a lot more consistent across the board. But I wanted to show you these yellow ones because there's a really good example in the middle here. Where did it go? But you really won't notice when they're in the cows. It's just something you notice when they're lined up right next to each other. Like this 4 here and this 4 here. So these are a little more bold in their engraving, and these are a little thinner. And that has to do with how thick the top layer of the rubber is on the tag. It doesn't have to do with the engraver as much as it does the tag. So it was a little thinner top in the thicker font, if that makes sense. So it engraved it a little bit deeper, which made the blade go in a little bit further and made it a little more bold. But other than that, I wanted to show you on these tags here, another thing I'd really love to go and learn about how they make their tags. But you can see a difference in color in these tags. So like, they're kind of intermixed. I tried to intermix it once I noticed that the bags were different in color. They're all technically the Ritchey yellow, but these here in this 2 line is where I noticed it. I didn't notice it fast enough, that they're just a little more dull. They're not as vibrant yellow as this one. So if I come in a little closer, I don't know if you can see how vibrant this one is compared to these. And I think that's just because they actually, when they make these, I don't know if they're dipping them, if they're pouring them, or how they're making them, but I'm sure that each batch of color is just slightly different. And I ordered so many tags that I ended up with a couple of different batches in this set, which has never happened to me before. But it's really interesting to me. I don't think you will notice once they are installed in the cow, because you hardly notice them here, except that they're right beside each other and all lined up. So just a little information on the Ritchey tags and how they are engraved and why they're sometimes a little bit inconsistent across the board. And all in all, a really, really great tag. They last a long time. I really enjoy engraving them. We use them in our cows as in addition to me running the engraving business. But I think that they turned out pretty good. Let me know what you think.